Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Undergraduate Pilot Training Graduation Ceremony for Class 2501. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Kinnear, Commander of the 8th Flying Training Squadron, training students in the T-6 Texan.
And I'm Lieutenant Colonel Julie Rainwaters, Director of Operations for the 71st Student Squadron.
Today's ceremony is a once-in-a-lifetime event. We encourage you to come forward and take pictures or videos when your loved one is presented an award or their wings. For your planning purposes, the wings are presented by rank and then alphabetical order.
At this time, please stand for the entrance of the official party and remain standing for the national anthem of Saudi Arabia and of the United States, followed by the invocation given by Chaplain Christopher Gilmore.
As I pray in my tradition, I invite you to pray in yours or simply observe a moment of silence. Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you for the great privilege it is to come before you now so that we can collectively celebrate the hard work and dedication of these graduates in Class 2501. Thank you, God, that they are joined by not only their fellow pilots, but family members and friends. Thank you that by your great and mighty hand, you have kept them safe up until this point. Lord, I do pray that as they spend the day reflecting on and celebrating this milestone, that you would give them clear minds in the future to recall all the loved ones, fellow students, instructors, and commanders who helped them get here. In other words, I pray that they would be able to see a host of helping hands, remember encouraging words, and reflect on the steadfast support they've had in their lives. And I do ask that in your divine providence, you would empower these pilots to also be great leaders. Use them to lead not only in their upcoming classes and in their careers, but also at home. Help them to lead as they become even better equipped to engage the threats we face as a nation. In their personal lives, God, I ask that you would help them to strive for the ability to be the kind of person who is continually contributing to a healthy home and not making that a secondary practice. Help them to be truly present when they are with their loved ones, as the mission will always be on their minds. Help them to aim towards finding a healthy balance of being an excellent officer and a father or a mother, a husband or a wife, a brother or a sister. Thank you, God, for the great privilege of being able to come here and celebrate with them. Thank you, God, for who you have made them to be. I pray these things in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Gilmore. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Today, 22 officers will receive their wings. On behalf of Colonel Charles Throckmorton IV, Commander, 71st Flying Training Wing, I would like to welcome the family and friends of Class 2501, as well as several members of Team Vance, including squadron commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, spouses, and our ASRC and Amentum partners.
We are honored to have the following guests from our civil and wing leadership here to support the graduates. The Mayor, City of Enid, the Honorable David Mason. The Vice Commander, 71st Flying Training Wing, Colonel Carl Miller III. The Command Chief, 71st Flying Training Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Harvey McReynolds. The Commander, 71st Operations Group, Colonel Eric Bissonette. The First Sergeant, 71st Operations Group, Master Sergeant Austin Weinman. The Deputy Commander, 71st Mission Support Group, Lieutenant Colonel Dane McCreary. The Senior Enlisted Leader, 71st Mission Support Group, Senior Master Sergeant Rochelle Esperanza. The Commander, 71st Medical Group, Colonel John DeLamba. The Senior Enlisted Leader, 71st Medical Group, Chief Master Sergeant James Pickren. We are also honored to have the following distinguished visitors as special guests of Class 2501. Please stand or raise your hand to be recognized. On behalf of Second Lieutenant Mark Allerheiligen, Colonel Nathan Allerheiligen, United States Air Force retired, of Vance UPT Class 9314, and his spouse, Susan. On behalf of Second Lieutenant Connor Parkinson, Chief Master Sergeant Rodney Bernard, United States Air Force retired, Command Nuclear Weapons Functional Manager, and his spouse, Laura. On behalf of Second Lieutenant Isaiah Montoya, Fire Chief Adam Montoya from the U.S. Army Garrison, Italy Fire and Emergency Services, and his spouse, Stephanie.
We would also like to give a warm welcome to our guest speaker, Colonel Corey M. Damon, Commander of the 22nd Air Refueling Wing, and the Commander, 71st Flying Training Wing, Colonel Charles Throckmorton IV, and his spouse, Brooke. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Throckmorton.
Well, good morning and welcome to Enid, America, and the best pilot training base in the Air Force. We're excited to have you here to share this exciting moment in the lives of this young men and women, and we really appreciate you taking the time to be here today. Mayor Mason, thank you as always for being here and for always sharing these moments with Brooke and I. It is always a great day to have you and Melanie here when she can make it. To my brothers and sisters and all of Team Vance, thank you for everything you've done to enable these young men and women to be here to earn their wings today. I know that these ceremonies would not be possible and these wings would not be possible without the efforts of your airmen. I'd also like to welcome all fellow service members and veterans that are in the audience today. Thank you for laying the path and showing what right looks like with service and enabling these young men and women to be here today. A special welcome to Colonel Allerheiligen, Hope I got that right, sir. And welcome home, Class 9314. It's glad to have you back, sir. Chief Master Sergeant Bernard, thank you for being here. And Fire Chief Montoya, thank you all for making the trip here and for the influence you've had on these young men and women throughout their lives. To the friends and family of the class, you've provided the graduates the principles, the moral compass, and most importantly, the work ethic that got them to this point today. Thank you for being here to share this moment, but more importantly, thank you for all you've done throughout their entire life to enable that moment, and we really appreciate you being here and traveling here to be here today. Now, to provide you a little bit of background and context, Vance is one of 4 pilot training bases in the United States Air Force. It's the best pilot training base in the Air Force. I think these folks will agree, and hopefully you will too after spending some time with Team Vance. Our primary mission is to conduct undergraduate pilot training, and we deliver highly qualified aviators to follow on training in a variety of aircraft for both our nation's Air Force and those of our partner nations. Vance has delivered more than 37,500 world-class pilots since 1941, including 2 Medal of Honor recipients, a World War II P-51 ace, more than 200 general officers, including the 15th Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Richard Myers, and 2 notable first assignment instructor pilots, General Ronald Fogelman, who rose to be the Air Force Chief of Staff, and Colonel Eileen Collins, who became the first female space shuttle commander. Class, make no mistake, you're graduating on sacred ground. Air Force heroes have walked these halls and learned how to be a pilot with VN on the tail flash for years. And I know you will follow in their footsteps, and you will all make us Vance proud. Now, in the seats next to you are those that you've shared some exciting moments with and hopefully formed a special bond over the last few months. You've worked hard, and hopefully you had a little fun too. And in the end, you made it here to graduate and become pilots in our United States Air Force. You've experienced the wonder of flight, and you know what it means to master something extremely difficult. Most importantly, you understand the entire support system that it takes to get you in the air, and the fact that it goes so far beyond you, it requires an entire team. We are so close to the moment that we've talked about a couple times as we've sat down together. It's my favorite part of the job, and this is my favorite day in this job is graduation day. But I have just a few more thoughts for your consideration before we get to that moment. As the chaplain said, we expect you to be competent, credible combat aviators, while also never forgetting the expectation to be competent, credible officers. You've learned a skill set which you will continue to hone and refine with each flight. Don't ever lose that love of aviation, but the charge ahead of you is to be the officer and aviator our nation needs. During your journey in the Air Force, the aircraft you are assigned to will change, the base you're assigned to will change, but leading people and taking care of your fellow airmen will never change. Now today we're celebrating the folks that are in the front row, but it takes a total team to get them to this point. And I'm always extremely proud of our collective team that contributed to Class 2501's graduation. We pour a ton of resources into these men and women, and in fact, we will invest well over $1 million into each of them to turn them into the next generation of Air Force pilots and leaders. However, money alone will not get them to this point. It takes a joint effort of over 2,600 airmen, government civilians, contract partners, and those that make up Team Vance. Whether supporting, generating, or executing the flying mission, all have played a vital role in the graduation of this class. Among them are 3 groups that I'd like to highlight for you today. And although they're the least represented, the first group is the instructor pilot cadre. These men and women have molded these graduates into what we call military aviators. They've poured their heart and soul in them, and they're already out in the skies right now, molding the next class to be sitting in these seats in just a few weeks. Please join me in a round of applause for the best instructor pilots in the Air Force. The second team is our amazing group of professionals who maintain our aircraft. Let's face it, student pilots and instructor pilots are really good at breaking airplanes. And when you're the third busiest airfield in the Air Force, and you launch over 200 sorties every single day, it takes an entire maintenance team to keep that fleet healthy and in the air and to provide safe aircraft for these men and women. And our team from MAQ and Amentum do an amazing job, and a round of applause for them. The third is our amazing men and women of the support and medical groups. Our defenders, services, finance, MPF, dental, flight medicine, and other airmen, just to name a few. The wings you are about to receive would not be possible without their support and dedication to our mission, and I know that they are just as proud of you as we are. Class, on behalf of all of Team Vance, I want to say congratulations and welcome to the family of military aviators. It is now my privilege to introduce our guest speaker, Colonel Corey M. Damon. Colonel Damon is the commander of the 22nd Air Refueling Wing at McConnell Air Force Base, just up the road in Wichita, Kansas. The wing, with more than 3,500 active duty airmen, provides in-flight air refueling for U.S. and allied aircraft around the globe with their fleet of KC-135s and KC-46s. McConnell has been at the forefront of the KC-46 enterprise since its introduction to the Air Force, and the wing continues to redefine the mission and the future roles of this critical aircraft while continuing to set the standard for KC-135 operations. Prior to his current assignment, Colonel Damon served as the Vice Commander of the 6th Air Refueling Wing at MacDill Air Force Base in Florida, and as a Senior U.S. Transportation Command Liaison Officer to U.S. European Command, as well as numerous positions within Headquarters Air Mobility Command. He was also a National Security Fellow at Harvard's Kennedy School of Government after commanding the second best C-5 squadron in the Air Force. Go Pelicans, once a Pelican, always a Pelican. There's a story there. We were sister squadron commanders at the same time, so I'm just going to leave that here for you, Corey, so you can always see that patch. Colonel Damon entered the Air Force in 2001 after commissioning through ROTC at Iowa State University. He attended pilot training at Laughlin, don't boo him please, where he was selected to fly the mighty C-5 Galaxy. He is a command pilot with over 4,300 hours in all models of the C-5, the KC-135, and the KC-46. Notably, Colonel Damon was selected as initial cadre for C-5M Super Galaxy program, serving as an evaluator pilot during operational test and evaluation and the fielding of the new weapon system. Most importantly than anything that I can quote from Colonel Damon's amazing list of achievements is that I can tell you he's a true professional. He leads with his heart, he genuinely cares about his airmen and his wingmen and their families, and that he will always stand for what's right. Since our time together as young captains many, many years ago, we won't talk about how long, I've seen him lead from the front, and he's never more at ease than when he's surrounded by his airmen executing the mission that he loves. Thank you for being here today, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Colonel Corey Damon.
I was a Pelican too, so yeah. It taught me how to be a better muley out at Travis at the 22nd. By the way, 22 grads, 22nd Airlift Squadron, 22nd Air Refueling Wing. Those were my two commands. I think we're on a roll here already before I even say my first words. So thank you, Throck. That introduction, I could have reversed right back to you. As we walked in here, we talked about friendship and what you build in this Air Force and in your lives and in your career. And I'm about to talk about a journey. And it doesn't get any better when you can do these types of things with your friends. So thank you. Thank Brooke as well for hosting last night. Appreciate you both very much. It's because of Throck that I'm here, not just for this day, but it's because of Throck that I've made it to this far to be able to continue to serve in this nation, for this nation. All right, enough of that love affair there. The bromance. Good morning to all of you. It's an honor, absolute honor for me to join you all today. I've actually never been to Vance or Enid. I spent my UPT at Laughlin, as talked about, in Del Rio, Texas, but trained multiple times at Altus, Oklahoma, both on the C-5, KC-135, and the KC-46. Yesterday on my way here, I did not leave when I intended to do. Wing commanders sometimes get other things we have to do at the last minute, and so I felt a little rushed. But when the GPS came up and said, do you want to take the toll roads or the not toll roads, I was doing the taxpayers a favor, and I decided to not take toll roads. So I saved you all about $2 and probably 22 cents on my way down here. But I decided to do that because I wanted to experience. I wanted to explore, and I wanted to increase my journey, which is all of what you have done coming to pilot training. I got to see new towns that I'd never seen before, new homes, new fields, lots of fields. And I'm from Iowa, so I can't talk too much about that. And I got to see just new life. They were new to me at least, right? Not new to the folks that live in those towns. They represent America, that piece of America that not everybody sees on the news or, as they're driving to their busy lives in different big cities. But they represent what's the best of America, and I'm just glad of just yesterday I got to experience that for just that short time in the car. The energy from last night, by the way, for drop night, which you will look forward to, was just invigorating, amazing. And I'm glad you invited me to that as well. Just to watch those future operational pilots get to see their next step in their journey. The adventure that begins with starting that journey, exploring new places, and testing ourselves, which you've all done. Sometimes it is extremely hard, but ultimately it is rewarding for you and those around you. Today I want to talk about the journey of heritage, trust, innovation, and how that inspires me, and hopefully those inspire you as well. First, though, I want to recognize who's outnumbering us in here, right? The families. The families and the friends that have come here to support not only this day, but have been there for these folks in the front row for many days, and have inspired, and have taught heritage and values of what it means to be an American, to my Saudi friends as well. It's the families. You are the reason they made it to this point in their lives. They had to do most of the work here in the last few months, but you got them there. Moms, dads, brothers, sisters, and all loved ones gathered here today, these 22 daring men and women have chosen, they chose this path to live selflessly for others and their countries because you have inspired them. They will become young warriors. It is clear when they do that this generation is secured. Your families are secured. Families, may this solemn pride be yours alone. The journey is everybody's a piece of it. The legacy continues, but everybody's journey is different. So on behalf of this grateful nation, thank you for inspiring values, trusting this nation, and supporting them in this journey of heritage, trust, and innovation. Class 2501. Up until today, this whole base has served you. AFE, maintenance, security forces, FSS, medical, your IPs, yes, they've been serving you. But today that changes. As you continue in this career, now it's time for you to serve others. It's an opportunity. It's not us trying to get a return on investment. It's us giving you that opportunity to be able to protect our freedoms, to lead people and execute that mission. What you have experienced here at Vance is a brief glimpse of what your future careers will hold. Despite how short this journey has been, although sometimes it probably didn't feel very short, I get that. You have overcome tremendous obstacles, challenges, check rides. Flying isn't for the faint of heart, and pilot training makes sure of that. You've been tested. If there's one thing you've learned up to this point, it's that aviation is humbling. You make mistakes, told you're wrong, and rarely praised when you are right. And if you do well, you're rewarded by getting less opportunity to fly because your proficiency advanced or something. I don't know if any of you were that. Less opportunity. You have to have a growth mindset. You have to be able to have thick skin, to take feedback. Because when you're in crisis, you have to. You are a leader in this Air Force. You will be, whether or not you have wingmen or an air crew, you will be leading them. They'll be looking up to you, even as second and first lieutenants. You must keep flying and leading your crew, even in the dire circumstances. The truth is, pilot training has already given us the best. Thanks to all of you, thanks to their academic institution. You all did your time. You all proved yourself. You all achieved something, and you continue to achieve. I hope you keep that spirit of achievement alive. You all did your time in high school, college, passed many exams, scored well on the AFOQT qualifying test, passed your physical, passed your fitness test, competed with your peers, not against. And then you came to pilot training and did all of that again. This base was given the very best mold of a student that one can receive. You are qualified and you deserve to be here. We need you in this Air Force right now. Keep that spirit of achievement in you. The journey is not complete. You know, in the days prior to World War I, it was thought that because airplanes provided such a tremendous advantage for reconnaissance, that if two adversaries had reconnaissance on each other, wars would not be fought. Conflict would not occur. I don't know how long that lasted. Not long. Not long. We know that is not true today. But our ability to deter, because of you and what you're about to do, against potential adversaries, alongside our allies and partners, is the goal. Competition, crisis, conflict, we're ready for it all. After today, you will have more training, and more training, and more training. But one day you'll wake up and be a seasoned worldwide deployable aviator, available when your nation calls on you. And you need to be ready. It is extremely important that you know your craft and know it well. This is what your country has expected of you. This is what your crew, your wingmen, and your parents have expected of you, and this is what you should expect of yourself. You know, I think it's right to talk a little bit about C5 and maybe a quick story from the C5 and where all of these things I'm telling you are proven. They were proven in every mission that we flew across the globe in the C5. Sorry for my tanker friends here, but most of my time's in the C5, so I'm going to tell a quick story. There was one mission that I was able to, the final goal was to move a $2 billion piece of space equipment that is currently on the ISS, the International Space Station, from Geneva, Switzerland to Cape Canaveral in the C5. Great, sounds awesome. So we took off from Dover, Delaware. See, I was at Dover. And we went out to, we had a few stops along the way. But when we got to Geneva, we had to fit this piece of equipment in the C5. When I'm talking about precision and I'm talking about professionalism, our engineers, not flight engineers, but the engineers with the pocket protectors and the sharp pencils, they gave these scientists a number. They said it's 163 inches from the top of the C5 cargo bay to the bottom. So the engineers, the scientists, they're like, all right, 163 inches. All right, let's do 162 inches. We'll plan this box, we'll plan this thing to be 162 inches tall, and it'll fit, it'll be great. We get there, it doesn't fit. And we have media waiting for us at Cape Canaveral. We have, the astronauts are actually there, the ones that took it up to the space station. A lot of pressure. And after hours and hours of trying to figure out why this thing won't fit, we figured out that the engineers didn't give the 3 inches that it takes to put it on the rollers. So the rollers are about 3 inches tall. So if you do math, it wasn't going to fit. So our team, innovation, right, get it done, said, well, we can grease the floor, and you can slide this $2 billion piece of equipment just right in there. We'll turn those rollers back. That gives you their 3 inches back. So we started to tell the scientists this, and their jaws dropped. And they said, wait. You're going to grease the floor? Like, yeah, just grease all over. They said, well, we don't necessarily want grease all over our $2 billion piece of equipment. So we'll just take this plexiglass top off of this thing that we designed just a storage box for. That's all it took. They designed the box, but the actual equipment was going to fit anyway. So we took this thing off. Anyway, long story short, we flew all the way to Cape Canaveral, got there on time, a little less crew rest than we expected in Geneva, and we got there. That's just one type of a mission we have, but on the beginning of that mission, I didn't say it. In the beginning of that mission, we flew to Al-Assad, Iraq. Same mission, same crew, flew to Al-Assad and provided mine-resistant, ambush-protected vehicles to our Army and Marine brethren on the ground. That is why we're here. The satellite thing, that was just fun. It would have been a lot more fun if the Grease happened. But why we are here is to protect not only this nation and our allies and partners across the globe, but to protect each other. And that's what you're going to get to do in the future, sooner than you think. That story went a little long, so I'm going to skip ahead. I talked about heritage, trust, and innovation, and what inspires me. I talked about heritage. You see it in a base like this. You see it in just our formalities of this graduation ceremony. Trust is tough. Gaining trust, building trust, creating it. I'll give you 3 things. Be deliberate. Think critically, not cynically. Be disciplined. I'll give you one quote. I'm only going to do one leadership quote. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. Abraham Lincoln. Number 2, be tenacious, be vigilant, grow. Never accept being ready enough. Establish and inspire order amidst chaos. We live in a complex world with many threats in all domains, and they're interconnected. Land, sea, air, and even more importantly and more getting to be more of a challenge, space, cyber, and information. They're all connected, and we all have a piece in each one of them. Your competence, your character, your good judgment, that's what we rely on you for. Be a leader. Number 3, be a leader. Engage, connect. Everybody has value on your team, and your team is bigger than you can imagine. Wearing that uniform, your team is large and interconnected across the globe. You've not even met all your teammates that will die for you, that will fight for you, that will care for you. You haven't even met them. This team back here, the families, your team is massive and they're all behind you. It's all the people of your nation that stands with you, behind you, in front of you, next to you. We get to sing America's fight song together. Oh, say, can you see? Can you? Can you see? Can you see what you are relied upon to do? People depend on us, and we need to be there for them. You've been a bit of the bottom of the totem pole for the past few months. You've suffered together. You've celebrated together. But other people will see the office of the rank you hold and expect you to lead them. Don't take that lightly. You've had 3 things for a successful, what I would consider a successful academic environment, training environment. Curriculum, which is cool because you get to fly in the curriculum. Rigor, right? It's tough. It was tough. That was by design. But the final thing that matters is relationships. That matters. All of you will be going on your own adventures and creating your own stories very soon. One day, as you sit in your living room, surrounded by grandkids, and they ask you for stories to tell, maybe you'll be able to look back and find great comfort in knowing that you served your country and gave it everything you had so they can grow up in another preserved generation of happiness. Now is your time. Please care the most so we can all operate the best together to continue to fly, fight, and win. Let's go. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Damon. Captain Jesse Krause from Class 2501 would like to present you with a small token of their appreciation for being a part of this special occasion.
We will now recognize individuals who excelled in one or more phases of training. The new pilots competed for academic, leadership, and flying training awards, as well as the Top Wingman, Distinguished Graduate, and the coveted AETC Commander's Trophy. Each phase of training was carefully weighed, and only a slight margin separated the top performers. Colonel DeLombo will present the Academic Excellence Award to the pilot whose overall academic test averages exceeded those of their peers. The recipient of the academic award is Second Lieutenant Hunter W. Holscher.
Lieutenant Colonel Dane McCreary will present the Leadership Award. The Leadership Award is presented to the officer who demonstrated outstanding leadership qualities and potential throughout this most rigorous and demanding military training program. The recipient of the Leadership Award is Captain Jesse D. Krause.
Colonel Bissonette will present the Flying Training Award. The Flying Training Award is presented to the pilot whose daily flying performance and check ride scores exceeded those of their peers. The recipient of the Flying Training Award is Second Lieutenant Sarah A. Wood.
Colonel Throckmorton will present the Top Wingman Award. Selected by their peers, the Top Wingman Award is presented to the graduate who epitomized the support and teamwork critical to being a great wingman. The recipient of the Top Wingman Award is Second Lieutenant Matthew J. Brazal.
Colonel Throckmorton will present the distinguished graduates. To be selected for this honor, a student must maintain an exceptionally high average in all phases of training and finish in the top 10% of their class. The first distinguished graduate is Second Lieutenant Brennan M. Peters. The second distinguished graduate is Second Lieutenant Sarah A. Wood.
Well done. Finally, the most prestigious trophy that Air Education and Training Command presents to a pilot training graduate is the AETC Commander's Trophy. This pilot excelled in both flying and academics and demonstrated the initiative and leadership qualities essential to the professional Air Force officer. Additionally, they personify the tenets of the Order of the Dedalians, a group dedicated to military aviation, personal integrity, and patriotism. Colonel Damon will present this special award reserved for the officer who attained the highest overall rating throughout the program. The winner of the AETC Commander's Trophy is Second Lieutenant Sarah A. Wood. Good job.
At this time, Colonel Throckmorton would like to recognize the instructor pilots selected by Class 2501 who most embodied the Air Force core values during their training and provided exceptional mentorship and instruction. Colonel Throckmorton will present the recipients with a plaque in recognition of their hard work. Receiving the award from E-Flight in the 8th Flying Training Squadron, Captain Brady Voigt. Receiving the award from F-Flight in the 8th Flying Training Squadron, Captain Grant Teal, who couldn't be here today and accepting on his behalf, is Captain Brady Voigt.
This concludes the awards portion of the ceremony, and now the time we've all been waiting for. Colonel Throckmorton will formally present diplomas and pilot wings to our graduates. As they exit the stage, they will receive a commemorative coin with their unique graduation number from the 71st Student Squadron Senior Enlisted Leader, Master Sergeant Aaron Withy. The new pilots' families and friends are invited to pin on the Air Force wings following the graduation ceremony. Having completed the required course of training, the following officers from Class 2501 are awarded the Aeronautical Rating of Air Force Pilot.
And folks, please come forward and take photos if you want to. We'll keep them up on stage as long as you want.
We really will.
Yeah. Captain Jesse D. Krause.
Second Lieutenant Sultan Sami S. Aldiab.
Second Lieutenant Mark A. Allerheiligen.
Second Lieutenant Turki Saeed A. Al-Qatani.
Second Lieutenant Sarah M. Bottom.
Second Lieutenant Matthew J. Brazell.
Second Lieutenant Austin M. Carey.
Second Lieutenant Cole J. Dempsey.
Second Lieutenant Brian B. Echalis.
Second Lieutenant Clarell M. Heineke.
Second Lieutenant Hunter W. Holscher.
Second Lieutenant Sneha Lakshmi Narayanan.
Second Lieutenant Sebastian J. Lemieux.
Second Lieutenant Isaiah J. Montoya.
Second Lieutenant Connor D. Parkinson.
Second Lieutenant Brennan M. Peters.
Second Lieutenant Grant D. Rockwall.
Second Lieutenant Christopher S. Reese.
Second Lieutenant Nicholas M. Shard.
Second Lieutenant Dawson J. Simmeroff.
Second Lieutenant Sarah A. Wood.
Second Lieutenant Eric I. Wright. To complete today's ceremony, Colonel Throckmorton will present Class 2501.
All right, class, please rise. Pitch, hook, about, pace. It is now my honor to introduce the